She was just a janitor until the world discovered she could speak 7 languages, and her life changed forever. Maya Johnson pushed the mop across the gleaming floors of the Grand Crest Hotel. The late afternoon sun cast long shadows across the lobby. She hummed quietly to herself, a tune she had made up to keep her spirits alive. Every day, the routine was the same. Polish the floors, empty the trash, make the lobby shine so that guests never suspected the effort it took to maintain perfection. Her hands were rough, her back ached, yet she moved with quiet dignity. She often wondered why it felt like no one saw her. She worked harder than anyone else in the hotel, yet she was invisible. Her co-workers passed by, barely glancing at her. "She's always working, but what's the point? She's just the janitor," one whispered. "Exactly. Who cares about the janitor?" another replied. Maya didn't answer. She had long stopped arguing. The world had decided her place before she even walked through the hotel doors. But inside her mind, there was a place no one could touch. Maya had a secret. 7 languages whispered inside her mind: English, Spanish, French, German, Arabic, Mandarin, and Swahili. Languages she had painstakingly learned late at night, after long days of work, when the world was asleep. She practiced them quietly in the empty lobby, speaking softly to herself. Bonjour, bonjour, oui gates, how are you? Ni hao, salam. No one knew of her gift. No one knew that beneath the janitorial uniform, Maya carried a mind and heart capable of bridging worlds. She had learned these languages not for fame or recognition, but because she loved to connect, to understand, to imagine a life beyond the walls of her reality. Life had never been kind. Maya's mother had fallen ill when she was young, forcing her to grow up faster than most children. She had juggled school, work, and home responsibilities, often going hungry so her siblings could eat. Yet Maya never complained. She never gave up. Each hardship only strengthened the fire inside her, a fire that refused to be dimmed. She paused by the window, staring at the city outside. One day, someone will see me for who I truly am. One day, I won't just be invisible. And so, she continued, mop in hand, heart full of hope, and a mind full of untold potential. For now, she was a janitor. But Maya Johnson was far more than what anyone could see. This was the life of silence, the life of a woman whose dreams were bigger than the world allowed her to believe. Every great journey begins in moments like this, in unnoticed effort, in quiet perseverance, in the hope that destiny waits for those who refuse to give up. Every morning, Maya arrived at the hotel before sunrise. The lobby was quiet, almost empty, except for the occasional bellboy or early guest. While others slept or rushed through their routines, Maya worked steadily, moving from room to room, ensuring every surface gleamed and every corner was spotless. It was exhausting work, physically and emotionally. Guests often ignored her presence entirely, treating her as if she were part of the furniture. Some were kind, offering a polite smile or a simple thank you, but many barely glanced her way, their eyes scanning past her as though she were invisible. She had grown used to it. Yet inside her, the fire of ambition refused to die. Every task, every chore, every back-breaking hour was a stepping stone in her mind, a reminder that one day she would rise beyond the walls that confined her. Late at night, after the hotel emptied, Maya would retreat to her small apartment nearby. She would pull out her worn notebooks, language books, and audio lessons. 7 languages. She repeated phrases over and over, practicing pronunciation, imagining conversations with people from distant lands. French, German, Mandarin, Arabic. Each word was a key, unlocking a world she longed to enter. She often thought about her family. Her younger siblings were growing up quickly, their dreams fragile. She worried about her mother's health, the bills piling up, and the scarcity of opportunity. Every time doubt crept in, she reminded herself why she worked so hard, why she studied in secret, why she kept dreaming even when life seemed cruel. One evening, after finishing a particularly grueling shift, she sat on the steps outside the hotel. The city lights shimmered in the distance, and the night air carried a quiet calm. "They don't see me," she thought, "but I know who I am. One day, they'll have no choice but to notice." Despite exhaustion, despite invisibility, she refused to let despair win. The world may have treated her as a janitor, a background figure in someone else's story, but Maya knew her story was just beginning. The struggles were real, the pain was real, but so was her determination. She had learned long ago that perseverance, even in silence, could shape destiny. It was a busy afternoon at the Grand Crest Hotel. The lobby buzzed with guests from around the world, diplomats, business executives, and travelers struggling with language barriers. Maya moved through the chaos quietly, cleaning, arranging, and assisting wherever needed, her presence unnoticed by most. Then came the moment that would change everything. A delegation of international guests approached the front desk, confused and frustrated, while they spoke a language the staff did not understand. The front desk clerk panicked, apologizing for the misunderstanding, struggling to communicate. Maya felt a familiar pang, a mixture of opportunity and nerves. Without hesitation, she stepped forward. "Ni hao," she greeted one of the guests with a calm, confident tone. Their eyes widened. She continued in Arabic, then switched effortlessly to French, German, Spanish. Each word, each phrase flowed naturally, precise and fluid, as if she had been speaking it her whole life. The guests were stunned. They smiled, nodded, and engaged with her as if they had found someone who could understand their world. The confusion and frustration vanished, replaced by calm, gratitude, and admiration. From across the lobby, Mr. Harrison watched, his eyes widening in disbelief. He had always known Maya as quiet, diligent, and unassuming, a hard-working janitor who swept floors and cleaned rooms. But he had never imagined such a remarkable depth of talent hidden behind her uniform. He called her over. "Maya, is that really you? You speak all these languages?" Maya hesitated, unsure why this moment had arrived. She nodded quietly. "Yes, sir. I've been studying them for years." Mr. Harrison's expression shifted from surprise to awe. He had always respected her work ethic, but now he realized that Maya's potential had been overlooked for far too long. The woman who swept the floors of his hotel was someone extraordinary, someone capable of far more than anyone had ever imagined. In that instant, a spark ignited. The janitor who had always remained invisible was finally being seen, and it was only the beginning. Maya stood in Mr. Harrison's office, her hands folded nervously in front of her. She expected a simple thank you, or perhaps a small acknowledgement of her efforts, but instead, he looked at her with a mix of curiosity and something she had never seen before: respect. "Tell me your story, Maya," he said. His voice was calm but firm. "I want to understand how someone with your abilities has gone unnoticed for so long." Maya took a deep breath, the weight of years pressing on her chest. She spoke slowly at first, recounting her childhood in a small, struggling neighborhood, how her mother had fallen ill, how she had taken on responsibility for her younger siblings, how she had worked multiple jobs just to keep the family afloat. She spoke of nights spent with books and audio lessons, learning languages on her own while the world slept, of dreams she had whispered to herself, dreams that seemed impossible in a life dictated by survival and hardship. "I've always tried to help others," she said softly, "but no one ever saw me beyond the uniform I wore, the work I did. I never thought anyone would care to see the person inside." Mr. Harrison listened quietly, leaning back in his chair. For the first time, he saw the woman behind the janitor. The intelligence, the perseverance, the courage, the struggles she had endured had not broken her. They had shaped her into someone extraordinary. "I should have seen this earlier," he said finally, his voice heavy with realization. "You've been invisible to so many, but not to me anymore. Your dedication, your talent, it's remarkable. You deserve more than being overlooked." Maya felt a mix of relief and disbelief. And she had worked so hard, faced so many hardships, and yet no one had ever truly recognized her. And now, someone not only saw her, but valued her. For the first time, she felt a glimmer of hope. Hope that her life could change, that her abilities could finally be put to their fullest use, and that the world might finally see what she was capable of. It was a moment of revelation, not just for Mr. Harrison, but for Maya herself. She realized that her journey was about to take a new path, one that could transform her life forever. Maya could hardly believe what she was hearing. Mr. Harrison, the owner of the Grand Crest Hotel, was offering her something she had never imagined possible, a management training opportunity. It was a chance to step into a world she had only observed from the sidelines, a world filled with strategy, leadership, and decision-making. The excitement that surged through her was accompanied by fear. Could she really do it? Could a janitor, a woman who had spent years cleaning floors and serving others silently, succeed in a realm she had never entered? The first day of training was overwhelming. Maya was surrounded by professionals in crisp suits, people who had studied business for years, who spoke in terms she had only read about. The jargon, the meetings, the expectations. It all felt foreign and intimidating. Her colleagues were skeptical. Whispers followed her from room to room. "Isn't she the janitor? Do you think she can really handle this?" Maya ignored the doubts. Every step she took reminded her of why she had been chosen. Every challenge she faced was a chance to prove, not just to them, but to herself, that she belonged. She worked late into the night, poring over reports, learning the ins and outs of management, memorizing procedures, and understanding the intricate workings of the hotel business. The work was grueling, exhausting, and sometimes discouraging, but Maya's determination never wavered. She remembered her family, the sacrifices she had made for them, the dreams she had silently nurtured, the countless nights she had studied while the world slept. Each memory fueled her, reminding her that she had already overcome so much. Gradually, her talent and intelligence began to shine, and she asked insightful questions, offered practical solutions, and connected with people in ways that others couldn't. Slowly, skepticism gave way to respect. Those who had doubted her began to notice something remarkable. Maya Johnson was more than a janitor. She was a force to be reckoned with. With every challenge she overcame, she grew stronger, more confident. The road ahead was still long, filled with obstacles and doubts. But for the first time, Maya could see a horizon where her dreams were not just fantasies. They were within reach. The janitor who had once been invisible was stepping into a new world, one opportunity at a time, proving that courage, perseverance, and determination could change the course of a life forever. Maya's days became a whirlwind of learning, planning, and leading. The challenges she faced were immense, but so was her determination. She had entered a world that was entirely new to her, yet she adapted quickly, absorbing knowledge, asking the right questions, and never hesitating to put her ideas into action. She began to implement small but impactful changes at the hotel. She introduced multilingual guest services, ensuring that no visitor would feel lost or ignored. She trained staff to communicate with empathy, teaching them to see beyond appearances, to treat each guest and each employee with respect. Her efforts did not go unnoticed. Slowly, colleagues who had once doubted her began seeking her guidance. People who had ignored her when she pushed a mop across the lobby now asked for her advice in meetings. The janitor who had been invisible was now a voice of influence. Maya faced resistance, too. Some employees struggled to accept her leadership, clinging to old hierarchies and prejudices. But she met every challenge with grace and patience, never letting bitterness creep in. Instead, she used every obstacle as an opportunity to teach, to inspire, and to prove that true leadership comes from knowledge, compassion, and integrity. The hotel itself began to transform under her influence. Operations ran smoother, guests were happier, and staff morale soared. Her unique ability to connect with people from all walks of life became a powerful asset, creating a culture of inclusion and excellence. Through it all, Maya never forgot where she came from. She remembered the long nights she had spent studying languages while the world slept, the sacrifices she had made for her family, and the countless moments when she had felt unseen. Those memories fueled her drive and reminded her why she worked tirelessly every day. The janitor who once walked silently through empty hotel halls had become a guiding force. Maya's rise was not just a personal victory, it was a quiet revolution, showing everyone around her that talent, hard work, and integrity could break down barriers and transform lives. The day Maya had long dreamed of finally arrived. Years of relentless hard work, perseverance, and quiet determination had brought her to a moment she had once thought impossible. The Grand Crest Hotel's annual company meeting was underway, and the staff gathered in anticipation, unaware of the announcement that was about to change everything. Mr. Harrison stepped forward, his eyes scanning the room. A hush fell over the employees. He cleared his throat and smiled, a mixture of pride and admiration shining in his gaze. "It is my honor today to announce someone who has not only transformed this hotel, but has inspired everyone around her," he said. The room fell silent, every ear straining to hear. "Maya Johnson is our new Chief Executive Officer." A stunned silence filled the hall. Whispers spread like wildfire. Faces turned toward Maya, the woman who had once been a janitor, the quiet presence in the background, now standing at the center of it all. Maya felt her heart pounding, tears welling in her eyes. Memories of long nights scrubbing floors, studying languages in secret, sacrificing sleep and comfort for her family. All of it came rushing back. She thought of her mother, her siblings, and every struggle that had shaped her. Walking to the stage, she could feel the eyes of her colleagues upon her. Some were shocked, some impressed, some moved to admiration. For the first time, she was fully seen, not as a janitor, not as a background figure, but as a leader, a visionary, and a symbol of hope. Symbol of, "Thank you," she began, her voice steady but filled with emotion. "I stand here not just for myself, but for everyone who has ever felt overlooked, underestimated, or invisible. No matter where you start, your dreams are valid, your talents are real, and your hard work can change your life. Never stop believing in yourself. The room erupted in applause. It was more than recognition. It was validation, a celebration of years of struggle, determination, and resilience. Maya had achieved what once seemed impossible. The janitor who had quietly walked the hotel halls had become the CEO, rewriting her own story and inspiring everyone around her. She had proven that true greatness is not determined by where you begin, but by the courage, perseverance, and heart you bring to the journey. Maya Johnson had reached the pinnacle of her journey, but she knew her story was far bigger than personal success. Being CEO was not just a title, it was a responsibility, a platform to create change and lift others along the way. She began implementing programs that focused on employee growth, education, and opportunity. Scholarships, mentorship initiatives, and training programs became cornerstones of the company. She wanted no one to ever feel invisible, to never doubt that their talents could make a difference. Traveling the world, Maya shared her story. She spoke to young people in schools, to business conferences, to organizations everywhere, reminding them that beginnings do not determine endings, that struggle, hardship, and pain can be transformed into strength, resilience, and success. She often returned to the empty lobby of the Grand Crest Hotel, the place where her journey had begun. Standing there, she remembered the mop in her hands, the long nights spent learning languages, and the countless moments when she had felt unseen. Those memories were no longer burdens. They were the foundation of her strength, the proof that determination could overcome any obstacle. Maya had shattered expectations, not just for herself, but for everyone who had ever been underestimated. Her story became a beacon of hope, showing that greatness can emerge from the most humble beginnings. Through her leadership, the hotel thrived. Through her guidance, countless employees found their own paths to success. Through her example, the world learned a timeless lesson. True potential is not measured by where you start, but by the courage, perseverance, and heart you bring to the journey. Maya Johnson's rise from janitor to CEO was more than a story of success. It was a story of inspiration, resilience, and legacy. A reminder that no dream is too big, no obstacle too great, and no life too ordinary to become extraordinary. And in the quiet moments, she still remembered the little janitor who once hummed to herself in the empty lobby, dreaming of a world that would one day see her light. And now, the world could not look away. Moral of the story: hard work, perseverance, and hidden talent can overcome any obstacle. Never underestimate anyone based on their current position or appearance. True success is not just personal. It's about lifting others and creating opportunities. If Maya's story inspired you, hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe for more momentum stories that prove anyone can achieve greatness. Comment below which part of Maya's journey inspired you the most.